Do you like being drunk? Well, I got some ideas for you. Keeping it simple, Barbarian, in my opinion, or a Barbarian multi-class, is going to be a great and fun class to utilize here if you want to use all of the drunk-themed equipment. The keyword there is all, though. It also thematically fits very, very well. With that said, depending on what drunk gear you want to utilize or how you want to utilize it, you can do a drunk build with many different classes and builds in the game, including ranged builds, which does include spellcasters, and it can be insanely powerful. So even if you're not interested in doing the Barbarian build that I'll quickly go over at the end, stick around as there are some interesting, very powerful ways to use some of these drunkard items that you may not have known of. Let's start off by going over these special items. The first item that you'll be able to obtain is the Punch Drunk Bastard Club, which can be found in Act 2 in the Cursed Lands. This is a little bit spoilery as you're going to see some Act 2 and 3 content in this video, but it's nothing too crazy, and I'm going to keep things very vague when relating to the story. So to find this club, you're going to head to the Waning Moon Tavern, which can be found on the eastern side of the map, north of Moonrise Towers and west from the Toll House. Your objective here is to get through this back door, which is not only locked, but it's also being guarded by a grotesque-looking creature, to say the least. If you walk up to this creature, it will proc a dialogue cutscene, and I won't spoil that in this video, but whatever happens to you, just know that this creature does have the key to open that door. You can also bypass the dialogue scene if you want to, by attempting to sneak behind and lock-picking the door, and this can be fairly easily done by going to the second level of the Waning Moon and jumping down behind the NPCs. Or you can do what I just did, and that is use the knock spell from the second floor, Misty Step down, and then you're in. So on the back of this area, there's a locked chest, and within the chest is the Punch Drunk Bastard Club, which deals 1d8 base damage. Now this is not good damage for a two-handed weapon, although it does have a +1 enchantment. But what makes this weapon great is that it gives you Tippler's Rage. While you're drunk, you have advantage on attack rolls, and you also create a blast with each attack dealing 1 to 4 thunder damage for 10 feet. Now if you play as a Barbarian, yeah, you already are used to having advantage on most of your attacks because of Reckless Attack. But with the club, you do get some AoE potential, and enemies won't have advantage against you. If you're not going for the full thematic Barbarian drunk build, giving this club to a fighter, for example, can be pretty deadly, as fighters get a ton of attacks and you'll have advantage on all of them. Regardless of what you play though, having advantage on pretty much every attack that you make is insanely powerful, even when using a weapon of lower damage potential. This Drunk Bastard Club can work great with any strength-based melee build, but actually many other types of builds as well, including casters, but we'll talk more about that momentarily. Let's check it out and see what it can do. First thing you'll need to do is, of course, get drunk. And you can do this by simply drinking alcoholic beverages, which also act as camp supplies, so try not to use all of your alcohol for your long rests. It's best to take a swig before a combat encounter begins if possible, so you can save your bonus action, as you'll need it to rage if you do go with the Barbarian build that I'll go over here shortly. When your drunken state goes away, just drink another. Drinking an alcoholic beverage in this game will only keep you drunk for 3 turns. However, one of the items that we'll be getting later on will up that to 5 turns. Right when you take a swig in this game, Tippler's Rage will activate, making all of your weapon attacks, including ranged attacks, have advantage. And we now get that extra 1 to 4 thunder AoE damage that reaches up to 10 feet. So if you have a lot of enemies around, that can add up to a lot of damage. But don't forget that you're also getting that extra 10 damage for each swing that lands from the Great Weapon Master feat if you take it, and this is a lot of damage. I should also note once again that Tippler's Rage gives you advantage on ranged attacks as well. So if you're playing a ranged build, having this club equipped and getting drunk, even if you're not proficient with the club, is something that you may consider doing. You don't have to use the club, you just have to have it equipped while drunk, and your ranged weapon attacks and ranged spells that utilize attack rolls, such as Scorching Ray, will have advantage. Look here with Gale. He is drunk, he has the club equipped even though he's not using it, and when he casts Scorching Ray, he gets advantage on each individual ray. Super powerful. The next drunkard item is the Drunken Amulet, which can be purchased from Hoots Hooligan in Chares's Caress on Worms Crossing Bridge. In order for this item to become available to you for purchase, you must receive Hoots' new brew called Hoots Hooch. All that this requires is that you say that you want it in dialogue. You don't actually have to drink it when it's transferred to your inventory, but it is kind of funny if you do. After you do that, you'll be able to then see and purchase the Amulet of the Drunkard, which gives you Booze Remedy. While wearing this amulet, regain 2 to 8 hit points per turn while drunk. Additionally, increase the length of your inebriation for 5 rounds. While we're here, also take note of all of the alcoholic beverages that some merchants carry, especially tavern owners. Don't be shy, toss a coin to your barkeep. Now, unfortunately, with this amulet, the 2 to 8 HP heal per turn seems to not be working as of patch 3. But what this amulet does instead do is it makes it so when you drink alcohol, it gives you heal. The actual act of drinking it with a bonus action instead of giving you 2 to 8 HP per turn. Without the amulet on, drinking alcohol does not give you a heal at all. Until that's fixed, that alone is really not that great, although it is cool to have alcohol turn into basically a lesser healing potion. What is great about this amulet is that it ups the timer for you being drunk from 3 to 5 turns. And this is important as it will save your bonus action for things such as more attacks, as opposed to having to drink alcohol every 3 turns. Now, if you only want to utilize those 2 items in particular, and not the third one that I'm going to talk about here in a moment, they can work great with any class or build that uses a 2-handed strength weapon, or, like I mentioned, if you're a ranged focused character, and you want to just have the club equipped, even if you're not proficient with it, you will have advantage on all of your ranged attack rolls, allowing these items to benefit a variety of different builds. The last item that I could find that deals with getting drunk, and there may be more, so please comment down below in the video comments if you find any, is the Drunken Cloth, which can be found in the lower city in the Guild Hall, which can be entered from right about here on the map. When you go into the Guild Hall, if you see Roa Moonglow standing near the entrance, that means that you're about to walk into a dialogue cutscene, which will also likely turn into combat. You could go ahead and do that if you would like, or if you want to just get this item and get out for now, you can actually sneak around the corner or cut the corner by jumping or misty stepping, and this will keep the dialogue scene from initiating. Once you get past the corner, go find the bugbear barkeep named Severn as he sells the Drunken Cloth. The Drunken Cloth's feature is called Snowy Liver. While drunk, you have advantage on Constitution saving throws, and you gain temporary hit points equal to your con modifier at the start of your turn. If you do end up doing the Barbarian build, you'll have unarmored defense, so you can wear no armor such as the Drunken Cloth, and your armor class will be 10 plus your Dex and Constitution modifier. Or you could use this Drunken Cloth as a drunk mage of some sorts, or a monk. There's a lot of combinations that you can do, it's really up to you. Since this is an item-based video, I do want to note the Amulet of Greater Health, which will boost your Constitution to 23 with a +6 modifier, which means 6 temporary hit points each round. I'll leave a link down below to show you how to obtain that. So with all 3 of these items equipped, you're swinging with advantage on your attacks, you're proccing Great Weapon Master over and over again, you're able to stay drunk for 5 turns, and you get hit points when you drink, and you have advantage on Constitution saves, and you're gaining temporary hit points from your Constitution modifier at the start of your turn. With all that said, let's talk about how you can use these items in builds. So using a class such as the Fighter, using the Punch Drunk Club, and getting advantage on all weapon attacks can actually be part of a power build. Also equipping the club on a ranged focus build, but not using the club and just taking advantage of the club giving you advantage on your attacks when you're drunk can actually be very, very powerful. Imagine equipping the club on a sharpshooter thief multi-class dual hand crossbow build, and I'll leave a link down below to a build that I recently did on that, and getting 8 to 10 plus shots in a single round, with each of those shots having advantage, and all you got to do is take a swig. Pretty crazy. But for a thematic drunk build, let's go all into the Beserker Barbarian, which will be able to utilize all of the drunk gear that I talked about in this video. For your 3 feats at levels 4, 8, and 12, I'm going to recommend the Great Weapon Master feat to get that extra +10 damage on each weapon attack. Tavern Brawler is going to make it so that your strength modifier is now added twice to the damage and attack rolls when you use an improvised weapon or throw something. It thematically fits, and because Tavern Brawler is a half feat, letting you increase your strength or con by 1, you can set up your ability scores nicely to where the Tavern Brawler feat boosts your strength from 17 to 18. Tavern Brawler also goes quite well with the Beserker Barbarian subclass. So you'll likely want a 16 in Constitution and a 14 in Dexterity. And if you can purchase the Gloves of Dexterity and the Githyanki Crush in Act 1, boosting your Dexterity to 18, you can then respec and dump Dexterity and put your ability points into other abilities. Your last feat will likely be an ability score increase, increasing your strength to 20. Choosing the Beserker Barbarian at level 3 is going to allow you to go into a Frenzied Rage, where you're able to do one attack or use an improvised weapon as a bonus action. And you'll get Enraged Throw, which increases the damage of you throwing stuff, including creatures, and also knocking those creatures prone. So don't be afraid to just wreak havoc and swing and throw things and smash creatures into the ground like a mad drunk barbarian. Everything else that you gain, you won't have to choose, it just comes with the class. You'll be raging, of course, allowing you to deal more damage and take less damage. You'll be able to move further than many others on the battlefield when you're not wearing armor. You won't be able to be frightened or charmed when raging. You'll have increased initiative, more powerful critical hits, and when you drop to 0 hit points, once per short rest, you will not be downed, and instead you'll have 1 hit point. Not the most perfect build ever, but it's actually still quite powerful, and most importantly, hilariously fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know if you do anything cool with some of these drunk items. Many more Baldur's Gate 3 videos on the way, and I'll catch you on the next one.